glass, letting all the sin, temptation in a bottle, ready for the night, craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright, echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back. Some good news today. A very good, actually, pretty good news considering the disparity between Australia's 85-year-old missing person and the missing person Nancy Guthrie. So you guys know Nancy Guthrie. She's been missing for almost a month now. The guy in Australia, Chris Baghsarian, he's been missing for only about 10 days. He's been found now. We know he's not alive. It's very sad. But today, they found his killers, or allegedly, they found two people involved. Media seems to think there's a third person involved based on that CCTV footage that we got of him being abducted from his home. Cops are not really commenting on it at this point in time. All they would say is that they are looking for anyone who is involved. Anyone. So take that for what you think. um, it's good to see you all. It is good to see you all. I hope you're having a great day. I'm sorry we're late. We were having some tech issues. The camera wouldn't turn on. The microphone was acting really strange, and it took me like 20 minutes to try and reboot everything and plug it all back in and try and get it working again. I don't know what's going on with that, but working in tech, hey, working in tech. Montana said, "Get a new mouse." No, I didn't get a new mouse. I washed this one with alcohol. It's working okay, but it's still a little grabby. I used this. So I have this stuff. This is like isopropyl alcohol, and I sprayed the mouse down, opened it up, sprayed the circuit board, and tried to wash it with a Q-tip. It's made it better, but not that great. It's made it workable, at least for now. Why does Nightbot have a display photo? I don't think I've seen that before. It doesn't pop up on the screen when I do that. It's good to see you guys, but yeah. We will get going. I'm gonna take you and have a look at this press conference. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about Corey Richard. We're going to talk a bit about that because today was exciting, especially when we're talking about the lab results. And as someone who just went through a major poisoning trial last year with Aaron Patterson, I know quite a bit about poisoning, and I know what they're looking at and why. So we're going to have a look at that too, because yeah, Ping knows quite a bit about it, and I think there's been a lot of commentators today, but they are not as clever as they think they are, because they missed a bunch of things that, I don't know, anyone who paid attention to the Aaron thing would have gone, "Oh my God, this is exactly the same as what they were talking about with Aaron." So I'll show you a few bits and pieces about that. I do just want to run you through this press conference very, very quickly. It's not very long, but it's about the arrest today. This has actually only happened like an hour and a bit ago. So I want to take you there. This is the New South Wales Police. They have been doing crazy updates really fast, daily for Chris. Very different from Nancy Guthrie. We haven't had a press conference in weeks now. Weeks. This guy has been fronting the media every single day, just about, to provide updates about Chris Baghsarian. You can see the different approach between America or at least Arizona and New South Wales Police. I think that's quite interesting. All right, let me play this for you. It only goes for about 8 minutes, something like that. And it's got some details about these two jackasses that they arrested today for hurting that 85-year-old man.
Detective Chief Inspector. currently the acting commander of the Robbery and Serious Crime Squad. From the outset, I'd like to say this is not a normal process that we would go through in a case like this, but I understand the media and the public interest. This morning, police attached to the Robbery and Serious Crime Squad located human remains on the street of...
That's the wrong one. That's the one from yesterday. Sorry about that. Let me go to that's the other press conference from yesterday. Sorry, they did one today too, I promise. I'm not lying to you. Here, where is it? There we go, 1 hour ago. There we go. Where is he?
I'm a Detective Chief Inspector, currently attached to the Robbery and Serious Crime Squad. I'm here to give you an update on the kidnapping and murder of Mr. Baghsarian. This morning, police attached to the strike force executed 3 search warrants and made 2 arrests in connection with the murder and kidnapping of Mr. Baghsarian. A 29-year-old from Kenthurst and a 24-year-old from Castle Hill were arrested, and they're currently at the Riverstone Police Station. They are still being processed, and we expect that they'll be charged in connection with the kidnapping and murder of Mr. Baghsarian. We allege in court that these men participated in a joint criminal enterprise with other persons to kidnap Mr. Baghsarian, and ultimately, where he was held hostage, where he came to his death, and they'll be charged with his murder. Once again, I wish to stress that Mr. Baghsarian was not the intended target of the kidnapping. I can tell you at the search warrants at Kenthurst and Castle Hill, detectives seized electronic devices, clothing, and other items that will suggest link to the kidnapping and murder of Mr. Baghsarian. At the Lake Macquarie address, we seized 2 electronic devices. We can now confirm that the remains that were located yesterday were in fact Mr. Baghsarian. We have done this through forensic testing. Whilst the family of Mr. Baghsarian, while they welcome the news of the arrests, they are still devastated by the loss of their father and grandfather. Again, they've asked that you respect their privacy. Lastly, I want to comment on the hard work of the detectives, the analysts, forensic police, and all those that worked on this case around the clock to get the result we got today. But I want to assure you that our work is not done, and we will continue to find out those and identify those that were also involved in this horrible, horrible matter. I'm open for questions.
With these 2 men that have been arrested this morning, will you allege that they were there on the morning? You know, we've all got that grainy CCTV of the 4-wheel drive. Will you allege that they are 2 of those people?
We will allege that they were in and around the area at that time.
And then what about the 3rd person? Is there a 3rd person assisting you guys at this stage? Because there's 3 in that vision.
I'll leave it there for a minute, but New South Wales Police released some photos from the raid today. This is like their premier squad. So these guys in the black here with the helmets, and here's a dork with his jeans falling down. These guys in the black, they're called the Raptor Squad. They're called the Raptor Squad. And they are kick-ass, take names, you know, they're the high end. They normally deal with organized crime. So if the Raptor Squad are knocking on your door at 6 a.m. in the morning, you should be worried, because these guys don't mess around. Their identities are normally hidden, and they are they will give you the old stop resisting, and you'll end up with a black eye if you're not careful. But as you can see, they got this guy out of his home, dragged him to a car where his pants proceeded to fall down. There you go. Very smart kidnappers. They can't even wear pants correctly. Seems like they are they try to kidnap people. They kidnap the wrong people. They end up getting busted by police and they can't even wear pants correctly. So there you go, being huddled away into a car. Here is the other Gronk. Here's Gronky mate getting led into the police station. You gotta remember, we're dealing with the creme de la creme of criminals. People who take the wrong person. So, Kathy said their mummy bought them the wrong size pants. Apparently so. Chipmunk said, I'm waiting for when they catch this belt thief. Yeah, someone stole his belt. It makes you ask the question though. This was actual organized crime, like the cartel organizing someone to be kidnapped. And the police in New South Wales busted it in 10 days. They found the body, they arrested the guys, and it is now before the courts. You have to ask, what is the problem in Arizona? What is going on there that it's now into the 4th week and they don't know very much? There's like a random guy standing out the front wearing a ski mask or whatever, but we don't know too much more than that. And it's concerning. It's concerning that the Australian police showed up the sheriff in Arizona. They were onto it from day one. Now, there is one difference. The guys in this particular case, even though they used an encrypted app, they did communicate with the target, the guy they really wanted to upset, the guy whose dad was supposed to be kidnapped. They did communicate with him, which is something we don't have with Nancy Guthrie. We have no communication with them. Hold on. Here, I'll show you that communication here. So you can see here, they're messaging the guy and he's trying to, I think they sent that footage of him being tortured. And then the guy's replying like, dumb error. How did yous, that's Australian for you, how did yous get the wrong house? Dumb. God was with you. My old man would have blown your head off. Good luck next time, you effing dopes. Pay your groundmen and hotties better luck next time. F you. Multiple middle fingers. And then the guys who kidnapped him down the bottom here says, so you don't want him back? Do I off him? Enough games. Do we off him and then move on, or are you going to help? Even at this point in time, when they must have realized they had the wrong person, they were still trying to pressure the other guy. He doesn't have any association with Chris Baghsarian, and the people arrested today were still trying to force him to do something. So as you can see, there was some communication, and this app is supposed to be encrypted. Australian police, especially the Australian Federal Police, are very adept at finding backdoors into encrypted apps and taking them over and watching without the criminals knowing. It's happened several times, including I think there was an operation called Ironside or something like that, and they helped the FBI and the CIA in America plus some European authorities to break into one of these encrypted apps, and they could watch while all these criminals thought that they were, under the cover of encryption, and authorities were watching their every move. So if that ended up coming out that they had a backdoor into this one and they could see who was typing to the other guy, then yeah, maybe that's how they did it. I don't know. I'm guessing they're going to keep their tricks of the trade to themselves. But yes, 2 guys arrested. Unfortunately, though, 85-year-old Chris Baghsarian is dead, and these 2, according to police, they are the ones responsible. Now, one of them is from Kenthurst and one of them is from Castle Hill. The one from Kenthurst is a 29-year-old man. The one from Castle Hill is a 24-year-old man. So pretty young. And here you go. You can see him in the back of a cop car with his beer belly out. There you go. Original Gucci, eh? I don't know if Original Gucci is going to save you today. I think not. I think not. Kim said they could have used their mob money to save Chris. They could have, possibly. It would have been a good thing to do. Young and dumb, McSpunky says. Yeah, they're a little young and dumb. Like they said in the other one, how did you get it so wrong? It's happened before, sadly enough. For some reason, in the Sydney underworld, there's been a bunch of mistaken identities, sort of attacks or kidnappings happen recently. There was a guy shot last year who was a mistaken identity. Why that happened, don't know. Just seems to be the way it is. All right, I'm going to play a little bit more of this one and then we'll keep going.
Is there a third person assisting police?
No.
So you're looking then for?
As I said earlier, we're looking for those responsible. And although there are 3 persons in that footage, and I think I said earlier in other press conferences that we're looking for all those that are involved, and we suspect that there's more than 3.
And how long have you been aware of the people who you arrested this morning?
From the day that we arrested, from the day that Mr. Baghsarian went missing, I said there was 2 streams to this investigation. One was to locate Mr. Baghsarian, and the other one was to follow the trail that was left behind by those involved. We had been following that trail from the 13th of February until the point where we decided there was enough evidence to arrest those involved, and that culminated in the arrest today.
Were they known to the police prior to their arrest?
I can say that they were known, but for insignificant matters.
Do you know who they're associated with? I mean, were they hired to carry out Mr. Baghsarian's kidnapping?
So that will form part of the investigation, and we're still investigating in relation to what their knowledge was and what their involvement was in relation to the kidnapping, in relation to any other persons involved.
And you said earlier that you say that they were involved in being at the location where Mr. Baghsarian died. Have you established where that is now? Was that the property in Dural?
We suspect that Mr. Baghsarian did die at that property in Dural.
Do you know when?
Other than to say that we believe that Mr. Baghsarian was deceased at the time that he was dropped off at the property, at the location where he was found. And that was after 9 o'clock on Saturday, the 14th of February.
Can you say how you specifically pinpointed these 2 people and so quickly after the human remains were found yesterday?
As I said, we followed the trail. There was canvassing of CCTV, vehicles were identified, and that's how we came to identify the 2 persons that were arrested today.
Now, when we're talking about Nancy Guthrie, there is a bit of a distinction that you have to make. This took place in a metro area. So there's a lot of cameras, a lot of traffic cameras, that type of thing for the cops to have a look at. When we're talking about where Nancy lives in Tucson, especially the bit where she is from, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of cameras. And even if there are cameras, they don't see onto the road or into other properties. So that is a problem that we have. But I mean, for these 2 things to happen at the same time, it is something we should look at, right? Both 80, almost 85, both of them. Chris was 85, Nancy's 84, but both around the same age, both kidnapped from their homes in the middle of the night. One got wrapped up in 10 days. One has not, and one is still ongoing. Her daughter making a plea today with a $1 million reward, and still nothing. It is dead quiet. I feel for Savannah, and I feel like it must feel like she has her arms tied around her back because it's like she can't do anything to help. But what she can do is she can offer some of her money and see if anyone takes it. $1 million is more than one Bitcoin, so maybe it'll be the thing that needs to happen. Sean said, "Didn't you live out at Round Corner?" That is near Dural. No, I didn't. I didn't live out there. I went to school out there. There was a school called Rudolph Steiner. Rudolph Steiner, Dural. I don't know if it's there anymore. Yeah, Lorian Navalis is a Rudolph Steiner education. I went to school here for one term. I went to school there for one term and then got booted out. I got kicked out after one term. But this is up there. So the reason I know the area is because I went to school here. And the reason I know Round Corner is because that was the closest place that had a like corner store or somewhere to buy food at lunchtime. Because students that go to this particular school can leave at lunchtime. You don't need permission. You can leave the school area and go outside, go get food, do what you want. But yeah, I went to school up here for one term and then got booted out. So yeah, I know the area a little bit. Um, I got booted out, but they had that conversation with my parents. They were like, "We're not going to expel him, but we'd like if he just didn't come back on Monday." And I was like, okay. And my parents are like, "That's fine." So I got the talk of, you know, please just don't come back. So yeah, I got in trouble. A lot of it not my fault. I will say that that school was incredibly cliquey, and there was a lot of bullying going on that the teachers turned a blind eye to, especially to new people. New people were relentlessly bullied, and then when the new people acted out to try and defend themselves, the teachers only saw the new people being naughty, and that's what happened. So, got bullied quite frequently, lashed out at a kid that was being relentless, and of course, the new kid gets the blame, not the kid who's been there for 5 years or whatever. Oh, that kid would never do anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. School was weird anyway. If you don't know what a Rudolf Steiner education is, it's very like artistic and like you make your own desk out of wood and do woodwork, and so like a lot of creative type things. Like on a Wednesday afternoon, we used to go down the back and there was a lady who played piano, and we had free form dance as like a form of expression. It's very hippie. It's a very hippie type school. But yeah. Laura said Paul Ping got uninvited. I did. That's okay. I didn't want to go there anyway. Steele said, I've been disrespectfully calling him Chris because I didn't think I could spell his last name. Baghsarian? There you go. You now know how to say it. But yeah, anyway, that's how I know the area. Went to school up there for a period of time. And yeah, no Castle Hill. Castle Hill, my family lived in Castle Hill when I was growing up in Sydney, and I had a lot of friends that lived there. Who is messaging me? My friend Melissa. Melissa, thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. That donation will go to funding the Samantha Murphy trial in April. Thank you, my friend. It's very generous. I appreciate it. And yeah, I will put it into the fund for the multi-week trial that we're going to. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We got more things to talk about. What do we got? Oh, I probably should show you what it looks like for people who don't understand. All right. So this is a map of Sydney, right? So down here, this is like Sydney Harbour. This is where the bridge, Sydney Harbour Bridge, is located for a viewpoint for Americans. It's right here. I know it's hard to see on the screen, but it's this little line right here. That is the Harbour Bridge. I'm pretty sure anyway. That is it. North Ryde. So this is where he was abducted from. North Ryde. There is Ryde and then North Ryde. Why they have multiple names, I'll never know. I didn't know when I used to have a girlfriend that lived in North Ryde. I got no idea. So he was kidnapped. They found his body out here where the red dot is. And then Dural is sort of down here, I'm pretty sure. Right here, if my bearings are correct. Dural is sort of around between this square box and this one here. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around here. And then, yeah, Linwood Golf and Country Club in Pitt Town, all the way out here. So they took him a fair distance through the north of Sydney and the west of Sydney. So this particular area they would probably consider the northwest, even though it's just sort of north. I mean, it's just sort of west, but they like to differentiate between Penrith and like Linwood, Pitt Town, that type of thing, because it's more expensive. They don't want to socialize with the people from Penrith. But yeah, so it basically went through the entirety of Sydney, all through the north. So all through this region, there were multiple places that got hit up, depending where they found the car, depending where that place was in Dural, and then finally where they found his body in Pitt Town. So you play with grasshoppers? That's weird. Sean said, I played cricket for Castle Hill. I played football for Parramatta. And I played at Richie Beno Oval in Parramatta every Wednesday night for training for multiple years from when I was like 7 till I was like 13 or 14. Every, like, through winter, through the bitter cold, used to play at Richie Beno Oval in North Parramatta. I used to play for the Eels. Woman of Steel said, I love the Kung Fu TV show. Ah. Sean said, I played golf there, very uppity. Yeah, it's a bit more uppity than, say, Penrith. If you go into Penrith, the people from Pitt Town can't socialize with the people from Penrith, the commoners who live there. So, yeah, they can never. So they have to differentiate. They have to be called Northwest, not West. Linux said, too cold at Richie Beno Oval. Yeah, it used to be freezing. Not American football, league, Australian rugby. Sean said, a country practice pit town was used extensively as the fictional town of Wandon Valley in this long-running and beloved Australian television drama. Really? A country practice? You know, growing up in Australia, especially when you were homesick from school, you used to watch like the morning news or the morning TV, and then at like 9:30, a country practice would come on, and you'd be like, "Oh, not again, not a country practice. How boring." Promise you, every morning like 9:30, they'd show an episode of a country practice growing up in Sydney. It's a it's a boring show. It's not from my time. It's from like the 70s or something like that. Sean said, I hated it. Me too. I hated when you go, yeah, let's watch the exciting news and things happening around the world. And then like then the a country practice theme song starts playing and you're like, oh, half an hour of boring. So Kim said the price is right in the US. Is that what they used to show? A Country Practice was a TV show about a doctor's surgery. That's literally what it was. It was about a country town where everyone would go to the doctor and the pub, and there were like interpersonal things. People got married, people died, people probably got murdered. There was like car accidents where the doctor would have to go. All sorts of it's like the Australian version of Cheers. The Australian version of Cheers. There you go. You can even tell based on the people and their like clothing and hairstyle what what decade that was from. So there you go. Chipmunk said, couple hours from me is the city that was part of the Exorcist movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Is that the one with the leg lamp? Is that the same one? Let's see. Kim said that's what we watch when homesick. Yeah, that's what we watched as well. Linux Audio said, bit of trivia, Bob Hawke had a cameo episode in A Country Practice. Did he? I never watched it to know. No idea. Wouldn't surprise me though. Old Hawkeye. Quite Observer said Frank and Cheryl had a pet wombat. That's right, they did. They had it was in the opening title. Here, wombat. Yeah, so unfortunately where they found his body, that is the same place that they did the fictional TV show. There you go. Can't be more Australian than a wombat. There you go. A screenshot from the TV show back in the day. Him cuddling a wombat. Linux said, yes, he did. I'm that old. He gave a speech on nuclear weapons. He'd be pretty sad today that Australia is trying to bring in nuclear power. He'd be rolling in his. Wait, he's still alive. He's not rolling in anything. He's still around. Wait. Yeah, he's alive. I'm pretty sure anyway. Truth be told, so that's my favorite movie. I don't know if I've watched that. A Christmas, what is it called? A Christmas movie? I don't think I've ever watched it. I don't think I've ever seen it. Anna said we used to call it I can't say that word right now, but yes, I think I've told the story on here before. You know that guy John Edward? The guy who does like crossing over with John Edward, and he'd have a crowd of people and he'd be like, does anyone have any significant, like he'd ask people about like, dude, do you identify with the color red? Does anyone have a father? Did anyone have a father who crossed over? Put your hand up. I'm feeling very fatherly paternity today. Does any of you have a father or grandfather or great grandfather or great 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 grandfather who died? It might be one of you. I feel something coming across. That's so we used to call that I don't know if I can say it without getting blasted by YouTube, but we used to call it crossing over with cunt face. And we used to every time it came on in the afternoon, we'd be like, "Oh, it's crossing over with cunt face." Yeah, we were not fans of John Edward. Mr. McSpunky says Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I don't know what that is. Australian TV shows. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. The leg lamp. That's the only thing I know from it is the leg lamp. I don't think I've ever watched it. Wait, is that the one where the kid gets the BB gun and almost shoots his eye out? Is that the same one? Maybe I have seen it, if that is the same movie. I have seen the one where the kid wants the gun, and then he, like, asks Santa for it, and he thinks he's been bad or whatever, and then his dad gives it to him, and then within 2 minutes almost, shoots his own eye out, and then he's, like, afraid of the gun. Betsy said, "Yeah, I remember that Rock of Gibraltar in the opening." There you go. Shinoda with Jimmy Stewart. Okay, I think we're a little off topic now. We're talking about old TV shows. Let's go back to what we were talking about. So where do we go from here with Chris Baghsarian? I think now that they have a couple of people taken down from it, it won't be too long till they find the rest of the people. Now, I said to you, I wouldn't be surprised if they were checking departure points, and I am surprised that these people were still located in Australia. I thought they would have been on the first flight out of here to get away from what they had done, but luckily for authorities, they were still here. So where do we go from here? Well, I think there has to be a celebration of life for Mr. Baghsarian, and it would be nice if they do something for the public too. I think there was a lot of people in the public who really put a lot of like love and care into the search for him. And I think it would be a good outpouring of emotion from the public if his family would allow the public to mourn with them. Because I think it was all over the news. A lot of people were invested in trying to find him. And that might be a good thing to do to honor Chris Baghsarian's memory. That would be a great thing. I'm sure he did not expect to have his life ended in this particular way by ruthless people who got the wrong person. Very, 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 very sad. Very sad. Gail said, "Do you think they will dob on others or stay dumb?" Depends. They may have already done that. Maybe that's how they found. Maybe that's how they found them. Maybe that's what happened. I'm not sure if it is, but it's a it's a possibility. Oh, we got video. I want to see video. They have video of them like busting down their door. Hold on. Oh my god, look at this. Remember he told you he didn't know how to wear pants? The guy that had his pants fall down. Apparently he doesn't understand how they work either because his fly is open. Apparently he's very lucky that he's wearing underwear because he doesn't understand how pants work. The fly's open. No wonder it fell down. No wonder he had no pants on in the end. Um, Very cool. I don't know if it's very cool. I'm not sure about that. I think it's very funny. Not sure if it's very cool. Let's see what else we have. I want to see if we can get. There is some footage of the Raptor squad beating down their door. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Is this it here? Nope, that doesn't look like it. Let me see if I can track it down. Doesn't look like it. I'm not sure where the footage came from, but I can show it to you. Yeah. On the on the Daily Telegraph here, you can see Raptor Squad beating their door down. Look at the guy come to the door too. He's like, "Oh, hello? Who's knocking down me door?" And then they dragged him out like that with no pants. Go away. I love it. Like they have the thing that barges and knocks down the door, and they were at the door. Who's knocking on me door this morning? What have I done? I think it's pretty funny. The other guy didn't have a shirt. Yeah, they seem to have problems with clothing. Maybe that's how they identified them. It could be. I mean, maybe they're like, we're looking for people who don't understand how clothes work. Well, we would like to arrest them for kidnapping and murder. Let me go here. All right. Linux said, puns on pretty fly for a white guy are hard to resist. I know. Not going hungry? Yeah, I don't think he may in prison. He may in prison. Let's see. He's broke apparently. Okay. All right. You're gonna get caught with your pants. Yeah, they didn't they have that for an ad for Razzmatazz or something like that in the 90s. Maybe they will do that. If we can overlay it on this footage one day Yeah, I think that would be they could play it. They could play it during his sentencing. They'll be like, "We have a clip we'd like to play, some evidence." And they'll play this footage of him with his pants falling down with the someday you're going to get caught with your pants down. That would be riveting evidence for the jury, I think. Danny Mitchell said they don't know how calories work either. Apparently not. Chipmunk said, "This is a fashion police. You're not wearing Gucci properly. Maybe they will stop sponsoring them." Hey Drewby, how are you? Losers? They are indeed losers. Gayla said, "Look at the manicured trees." Yeah, so they know how trees work, but not clothing apparently. Tells you a lot about two people who attempted a kidnapping of an 85-year-old man who wasn't even the correct target. Very, very clever individuals. All right, let's go here. I really want to see if we have that, the longer version of that clip. Hold on. Yeah, we might. I'm going to take you to channel 7.
And patrol high-risk gatherings around the clock. And what happens in Vegas? Australia's NFL stars embrace America's glitz.
With Natasha Belling.
And Cuneo with the very latest details. Clem, good afternoon. What more do we know about this?
Hi, Tash. Yeah, so just after 6 o'clock this morning, riot squad officers have raided 2 houses, one here in Kenthurst where I am now, and another one not too far away in Castle Hill. At the house behind me, a 29-year-old man was arrested. He's been taken to Riverstone Police Station along with a 24-year-old from the house in Castle Hill. Now, what we can tell you certainly about the 29-year-old from the Kenthurst house is that he lives at this house with his parents. Police are still here now at the moment. Detectives have been searching this house ever since 6 a.m. when they raided it. So 6 hours on, they're still here and they are leaving no stone untouched. Right now, they've got a drone up over the house. They've gone through bushes. They've searched the garage. These men, the police allege that they were heavily involved. We don't exactly know what they're accused of doing at this stage, but right now they're being interviewed at Riverstone Police Station and they are expected to be charged over the kidnapping and murder of Baghsarian. This morning, we did get a statement from Mr. Baghsarian's.
There we go. We'll leave it there. That's where they found his body yesterday under that tarp, and they've put up the black plastic to avoid people seeing the body. Because earlier on, people did catch the body on the ground. Let's see. Kathy said he still lives at home with mummy and daddy. Maybe. Gayla said parents must be so proud. They'll have plenty of days to be proud at the court proceedings in the Supreme Court of New South Wales. They can go there and be proud mamas and dadas later on. All right, there's your update for Chris Baghsarian. A sad update. It brings it to an end, the hunt for him, and at least for now, the hunt for the people responsible, although there may be more people arrested as we continue. So very, very sad. And I want to take you out to the Nancy Guthrie thing. I know everyone's done it already, but I just want to bring this in. Yeah, I'm going to take you out to CBS 5 in Arizona. Is that the right one? Yep. Actually, we'll take you to this one.
Guthrie family donating $500,000 tonight to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need.
It's the same hope the founders of grassroots organizations for finding missing people in Arizona have. Bernadine Bayel started the Four Corners Canine Search and Rescue, a nonprofit that runs on volunteers. She says the majority of the money used for the search operations comes from her own pocket.
There's times where, we may not have funding, but that doesn't stop us from going out to help these families.
Families like Aaron Mark Bradley's children and grandchildren. Kayla Benali says her 68-year-old dad vanished last September in Clay Springs in Navajo County, Arizona, under suspicious conditions.
My family and I really miss him.
Benali says it's hard for her family to take time off work to search, cover the costs for flyers, on top of the emotional toll. She says Biel's help lifted a huge weight off their shoulders.
It really gives us this sense that they truly care and take time out of their day to help us and to really look for our dad.
The help is free, just like it is from Rhonda DeCare, the founder of the nonprofit Missing in America. She says every donation, from a few dollars to hundreds or thousands, can cover the costs for billboards, gas, hotel, and food for families.
I want to commend the Guthrie family. Their donation shows an understanding of the disparity in attention that differs between missing person cases.
Yeah, I like it too. It also tells you, if you look on the sign that she had behind her, missing is not a choice, awareness is. And like I told you the other week, they are trying to, especially for young people, move away from the word runaway, and they're trying to get to the word just missing. So Missing in America does that. They help bring awareness, and the donations to these charities will help a lot. They will help a lot of families who need it, just like Savannah and her family needed help. So really, really great donation. How kind, very lovely of, in such a hard time for the Guthries, to think of someone else is really, really amazing. Betsy said, "Do you have mugshots there?" We do, but they're not given out like in America. So in America, as soon as someone is charged with a crime and put into a cell, their photo goes up online. In Australia, that doesn't happen. Sometimes they're given out in the media, sometimes they are not. So it's not automatic like it is in America. They said the 29-year-old still lived at home. There you go. Still lived with mom and dad. So $1 million and a couple of donations now to other charities, including the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which is fantastic. But where do we go from here? I really don't know. I'm such at a loss for the Guthrie case that I almost feel like the authorities are taking it easy as well. You hear that sheriff in interviews saying, "Oh, um, it could be years, could be months, could be weeks." That doesn't inspire any hope that it's going to get done quickly. It tells me that they're perfectly fine with it taking a few years. I don't think the family would like that. I think the family would like it to be done quickly. But I did see something here. Hold on. Was there an update? I thought I just saw something flash up saying there was a new update. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't know what that is about. I thought I saw something about the DNA. No, I did see something about the DNA the other day, though. The fact that apparently the sample is not very good quality, and it's a mixed contributor sample, and that is that is why it's not come back yet. They haven't been able to track it, is because they're trying to separate and figure it out. And apparently those mixed contributor ones can take a while, which is not good. Not good for the search for Nancy. I think that's not great. Okay. All right, let's play the rest of this.
The disparity in attention that differs between missing person cases.
They're all hoping this attention will help bring in more donations from communities to their local search groups working to reunite families.
If you know anything that could help find Mr. Bradley, or if you would like to donate to any of the nonprofits we talked with, you can learn more on azfamily.com.
Yeah, I hope they find Mr. Bradley too. That family, especially, they look like Native American. Native American people are often forgotten about. Their cases don't get a lot of attention, and the media doesn't report on them like they do other people. And I hope they do find her father. That is must be very distressing for them to have him be missing for so long. Let's go here. I want to keep talking about this just for a minute. Is this it here? All right, here we go.
And then new information on the DNA evidence that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. According to two federal law enforcement sources that spoke to Fox Digital, the DNA samples from the home came back to people who had reason to be there, and then one partial sample yielded a result that couldn't be checked by the FBI's CODIS database. This comes as a source close to the investigation tells Fox Digital the suspect caught on Guthrie's doorbell camera may have shown up before her disappearance. The Pima County Sheriff's Office has called this speculation, saying all the photos released by the FBI were from February 1st, the day Nancy went missing. But according to the source cited by Fox Digital, one of the images released to the public was taken on a different date. And then this morning, Savannah Guthrie released another heart-wrenching video. In it, she acknowledged that her mother may not be found alive and pleaded for anyone with information on Nancy's whereabouts to come forward.
Yeah, it just all seems to be going backwards. The Savannah Guthrie and the Nancy Guthrie investigation, it just does not seem to be going in leaps and bounds like other investigations might. It just seems like every day there's another setback. There's something that doesn't quite work out. It's yeah, really, I don't know what's going to happen now. I don't think anyone does. Yeah, so that's the only update I have for you. I don't have anything else regarding Nancy Guthrie, and I just want to leave it as simple as we can because I don't think there's a real reason to go over and over and over the same thing 200 times. All right. I do want to talk about Corey though. Hold on. If I can get to it, I will. Where is it? This one? I hope it's this one.
Two of the long-awaited Corey Richins trial. Richin is the woman accused of poisoning her husband with fentanyl just a bit over 3 years ago, then writing a children's book on how to deal with grief. ABC4's Jake White has been inside the courtroom since the trial started yesterday. And Jake, I know you said there was a lot covered on day one. Can you say the same for today?
Lindsay, absolutely. And just to put it into perspective for you, I took more than 20 pages of notes. That's how many topics were covered, and it's only day two. But also, they stayed around the same area as figuring out what exactly happened on the night of Eric Richins' death.
Now, we did get to see a little bit of the body cam footage today. I don't want to play it through this one. I want to play it through KSL and just play a little bit of it for you in a second. But the thing that I noticed throughout this, and I'm sure a bunch of other people have commented. Actually, it's not this one. It must be this one. All right, yeah, it is. So we see Corey. If I go to her, where is she? Here. All right. So the cop goes downstairs and he starts talking to her after they have decided that her husband is dead. They have a conversation and they say he is cold, he's been gone for a while. They don't believe their life-saving efforts really did anything, and they were like, basically he's dead and has been for a period of time. And then we hear them trying to talk to Corey. She's sitting here in the living room. Just listen to her. Just listen to her replies, please.
I just thought it was cold. It was cold in there, so I put the blanket on him. Yeah. But his body just felt like heavy, and
And which way was he facing? Was he facing towards?
No, he was just up, just facing up.
Oh, so he's laying on his back.
Okay.
And then did you pull him to the ground?
Yeah, that's what the lady on the phone told me to do, was to take the sheet and pull the sheet
Okay.
to the ground so I could do CPR.
Okay. What's his highest level of education?
It's a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
My husband's active. We didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
You know, one of the things that I've seen brought up throughout this entire video, it goes for like 45 minutes. She puts on this whingy voice. Did you hear it? It's like a whiny voice, like a little girl.
Yes.
He's just laying on his side like normal. I just thought it was cold. It was cold in there, so I put the blanket on him.
But what we didn't see a lot of with this sort of like hyper upset type behavior was no real tears. No real tears from her. And it just seemed over the top. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone's grief, but I was reading into people's accounts of when they found out a loved one was dead or they found someone dead. It's not everyone, but I just tell you that a lot of the people were saying they were so in shock at exactly what they were being told or what had happened that they really didn't display a ton of emotion because they couldn't process what they were being told. Like, oh, your husband's dead. He died in his sleep. He ain't coming back. We have to take him to the morgue now. And for a lot of people, they were just in shock, very little emotion. And that's very interesting when you see it here with her, this big displays of like fake crying, fake, emotions and things like that. It sort of almost goes against what a typical, not everyone, but typical person might do. Roman says, you're going to give back what you stole from me too. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry, Roman. I don't know what you're talking about, sir or ma'am. No idea. Danny says a real victim would lose their ish when the guy asks what is their highest level of education. You'd just be like, what has that got to do with my husband being dead? Why do you need to ask these questions? I'm so not concerned with your, paperwork and admin. I'm more concerned that my husband is no longer alive. So yeah. I don't see what his education has to do with anything. I don't get it either. Yes, we'd like to know how educated the dead person is so we can contact their university and tell them one of their alumni has passed away. It's something that we do. No, I don't think that's something that does happen. Let's go a little bit further.
Do you have the phone number to Herb, his doctor? I can't.
I don't know yet. We'll see what we can do. I don't. It's just at the Park City Family Clinic and Hospital.
Okay, I can look it up.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Who told the boys? Claire said a cop told them. Why didn't you tell a child? Well, they should have told them. I answered them.
No.
They all know. They told me. How do they know? Well, Carter told me. A cop told me. Would they have told them? No, I wouldn't be.
We were in there, so we were maybe a fire department.
Maybe get the other. Oh my freaking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know what's interesting? I also read from someone else today that they said, look at the relatives' reaction compared to Corey's reaction, and it's almost like the relatives care more and react, more of what you think you would see in this situation compared to Corey herself. And I think it's right. I think the family is showing much more concern and like real, like what the hell is going on here. So yeah, the hiding her face is if you spoke to a psychologist, they might tell you it's probably something to do with like shame of their actions, trying to hide away from what they've done. It's like an instinct sort of thing, but I'm not a psychologist. Chipmunk said, I hope in future officers can have a special camera to set up when asking. Every bit helps for a trial. Yeah, it's the body cams do help, but sometimes the view gets blocked and it's hard to see certain things. All right, here we go. I want to go to there's a bit down here. Yeah, right here.
Corey, is there a way we could relocate your voice upstairs?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I'll tell her to. What? Come on. Come on. Come on. See you too. Bob, come on. Come on, Bob. They got all the kids that's confused. Come on, my sweetheart. Come on, my sweetheart. Come on.
We're good now. I can explain to her if you want to.
Okay. I miss everything. I miss Chris, Will, everything. I miss power of attorney. I miss everything.
You don't have to
Go
worry
upstairs.
about that kind of stuff
Go
right now.
upstairs with the boys. Go upstairs with the boys. I think I read that she said it's a nightmare. So I went back in her room and was free.
One of the most ridiculous things I heard her say was, she said, oh, in the middle of the night, I woke up or got up, and she says, I touched him and he was ice cold. So I just put a blanket on him. Now, it's one thing to have like cool skin, even a little icy, because some people sleep on top of their blanket. I do, and I always feel a little ice cold in front of the fan as well. But there's a big difference to feeling like a dead cadaver. Like dead people are ice cold, like an ice block. And yeah, like her whole like, oh, I decided to put a blanket around my dead husband because I thought he was cold. Yeah, he is cold. He's dead. And according to authorities, you're the one to kill him. So you knew about that when you covered him with a blanket. You weirdo. She's a bit odd. There's a bit here with the paramedics that I want to do though. Where is it? I think it might be here.
Seriously, we were just laughing and drinking it. I don't talk about tomorrow. We were celebrating. We were just celebrating you guys celebrating. For what?
It was in the house of this. And they got over there yesterday. We were so excited.
Most of the time. He's like a 10-pound. Little floofy.
Okay, was he?
With Eric every day.
Was he on the bed when you came in?
Was he on the bed? No, he wasn't in there when I came in. Is your dad on the way, Katie? I don't know. He called me, and I just like screamed, and everyone woke up, and then we're here. I don't think he can even function, Corey. I'm trying to find someone to go with. Oh, my dad's almost here. Oh my God, I can't tell him, Katie. I can't even. I can't. He was fine. I'll do it. My sister's almost here.
Can you just please explain to them the process that they can't pass the threshold until it's really.
What you're doing? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Okay. Yeah, I thought you were like seeing if I was gonna pass out or something.
No,
like my.
And that too, you know.
Oh, I'm so shaky. I think I'm gonna stay sitting until I he had that stuff on his nose. It was like, what is that?
So, like I said, I'm not a medical personnel person, but what the ambulance said was he did have blood in his mouth.
All the blood.
So, you know, they don't know. It might have been an aneurysm. They don't know.
His dad has blood clots. He had blood in his stuff. It was like, looked like snot or something.
Yeah, because when they do the CPR, it gets the blood flowing and it gets moving. And if it's not pumping,
oh my God. I gotta when I was trying.
Sorry, guys. Mrs. Ping is here, and I had to let her in. Do you want to say hi? There you go. She said hi. She was telling me that she was delayed coming home because there's all these cops somewhere on the road down there. Cops? Murder? Maybe a murder. No, I think she was saying like they're doing like breathalyzers or they. So in Australia, I don't know if you know this, but not only do they breathalyze you here, but they also do saliva drug tests for people. So she got caught up in that. She had to do a test and stuff, and then that's why she was delayed. Because I was like, "Where is she?" It's like 5:40, so she had to go do all that. And she said there was heaps of cars, and they were like, you know, funneling them through. So that's what. Because she's normally home like 20 minutes before this, so there must have been a ton of people getting fed through the drug bus thing. So yeah, they do that down here, and they actually like they get a plastic thing, and they scrape your tongue, and then they test it, and they can tell if you've been driving on the lead drugs. Chipmunk says yeah, so yeah, they do that here. No. So there's a bit that I really wanted to talk to you. I think we must have gone past it, but there's a bit where the cop talks to. There's a bit where the cop talks to the No, that's not it.
Breathing.
investigation and document everything.
I must have missed it, but there's a bit where they talk about the recovery life-saving efforts that they tried to do for him, and you hear from the, I guess it's the paramedic, and she's basically like, "There's nothing we could do." She's like, "We tried, we we worked on him," and she's like, "He was way gone. He was already basically deceased, unfortunately." But I think it gives you a real insight into that night. This is the first time we've ever seen that. We heard a lot about it, but we've never actually had that inside look into what happened into the Richards household that night. And now we do. And I think it paints it in a completely different light. Rather than just seeing the text messages about it or the text, now we actually get to see the video about it. And yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to hear a lot more as we get pushed down through the trial. Danny said, I wonder how they chose the pajamas to wear for murder. I don't know. Maybe they go to bed, bath, and murder, and then they just choose different outfits. I don't know. But yeah, interesting day at trial. Now, where's my other bit? Looking for the bit now where there's, so they were talking about tox screen today, and they were talking about different areas to find poison. And I think it was the defense, I know, the prosecution, they were asking the medical examiner about where they found alcohol in his system, and they could only find it in one specific place, but not, I think it was not through the blood and not through the visceral fluid. And they were, what the point they were trying to get at was time of ingestion, but she was very reluctant to put a time on it. But these things are very important in poisoning cases because you can show different orders of ingestion, and that's what they were trying to do today. Yeah, I think it was the bit that they actually found it was in the stomach, which I think what they were trying to push her for was they wanted her to confirm that that was either the last thing he drank or it was very close to when he died. And she wouldn't do it. She was like, "Oh, I don't know." She's like, "I can tell you that that's where we found it." Unfortunately, she wouldn't give him the answer, but maybe when we hear from a toxicologist, not a medical examiner, we'll hear more about that specific thing. When they did it at the Aaron Patterson trial, they were trying to determine a timeline for things people ate and fluids that they had drank, and I think that's what they were trying to set up here today. But yeah, she just wouldn't give it. She was not willing to go that far. She's just sort of like, I'm just a medical examiner. That's not my job, and she wouldn't do it. Woman still said yes in his stomach. He died before he could digest the alcohol. Right. And I think that was to go to help establish timeline, things he might have eaten or drink. And we're going to hear more about that when they bring up their toxicologist, I am sure. Interesting to note that they had to do an extended toxicology panel on him to find what was in his system. If I go here, maybe it's here. I'll bring it up. I'm not going to play the video for it, but I'll show you the panel. Where is it? Okay. No, that's not it. Shush. That's not it. Touchdown, body character. Nope. Uh-huh. Here we go. All right, stay with me, people. I'm sorry I'm a bit disjointed. Here, let me pause that. By the way, this judge, best voice ever, and he's the best judge I've ever seen too. He's so on top of everything. Whenever the defense or the prosecution say something, he just knows. He's like, "Nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that." He's like, "That falls under section 32A or whatever." Like he's so quick and but very fair to all parties and gives them like solutions or what it can do. And if he gets to the end of his rope, he's just like, "That's all we can do. That's all I can give you." He's great though. Not many times I've watched a trial and I've been like, "Wow, that's a great judge." This guy really well done. This is her here.
About the COVID or about the allergies?
Nope.
Possibly.
Or does it vary just whenever you feel the urge, I guess?
Possibly, but I don't know.
Okay.
In addition to the NMS labs, was there other evidence that you looked at specifically, say for example, pulmonary edema? Was there blood present?
Means that he had the beginning stages of, and your body tries to, again, was the granulomas that were.
Let's move.
No.
Okay. Respiratory system.
Maybe Ping's not going to be able to find
Where
it.
did they end up getting it from?
So they ended up having to go inside when we opened the body up, and they entered in through the inferior vena cava. And then you direct it down towards the femoral artery. What you're doing is you're taking the information that you have.
Your Honor.
I'm not going to sit here and try and scan through it for like half an hour. That's my fault. I should have had it ready to go. But she does talk about it. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they're trying to set up a timeline of ingestion and they're going to try and narrow down how exactly this would have happened. And then what they're going to do is they're going to work off Corey Richards' her own statements about what happened that night, which we've already heard about earlier in the trial, about what happened before they went to bed and around the time they went to bed. They said that they had a shot of alcohol to celebrate. I'm like, that's weird. So you drank alcohol and just went to bed after brushing your teeth? Yeah, I like to do that too. I'm like, hey, bring out the vodka before I brush my teeth and go to bed. It was all a little strange, but they're going to work that information onto that timeline and then show where she's incorrect and where she must have known what he ingested. So that's how they're going to trap her with that. The other thing is they had a woman in today. There are no girls that will give evidence. They all have to be adults. There was the tech today, and I wanted to point something out to you about that. They talked today about Celebrite. Now, there is a little bit of kickback going on in courts around the world to do with Celebrite, and I'll tell you why. They've started to call it like press button forensics or click button forensics, where you just plug in the phone and press a button within the program and it spits out a report. But the problem with this is the person that's doing the scan of the phone may not understand where the artifacts come from, how they relate, and then what happens with that is they print out that report, search for the artifacts that are of interest, or they are highlighted by Celebrite. But after this, they are then relied on in court for it's a pillar of their case. And when you do this, and you don't understand what the artifact is from, how it was generated, or whether it is reliable, it creates a problem with the evidence because you end up being in court and they're just like, oh, so where did you get this? And they're like, oh, I got it from Celebrite. Yeah, okay, you got it from Celebrite, but where did it come from? How did it get there? And what is it relating to? And a lot of the time, these people that do these Celebrite reports don't actually know. So what is happening in a lot of cases, they are now having to take the Celebrite report, get another expert to go over that data and then verify it. Because, yeah, this whole sort of what they're calling push button forensics is starting to be looked down upon as, they're just pressing a button and they don't actually know what they're looking at. And if Celebrite tells you that is interesting, then that should be looked at. But when you think of other types of forensics, you think of like someone actually finding the information, comparing reports, in minute detail. And yeah, that's sort of the what is happening with Celebrite in some of these court cases. It's very interesting, at least from the technical side, that some of these judges and different trials are starting to not like that. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I don't have the witness list in front of me for Corey Richards' trial. And I wonder if they'll end up bringing in a second tech expert to validate the findings from the Celebrite or not. We saw at the end of today, they had a freaking pile of phones. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they had the witness on the stand, who I think was the forensic woman, digital forensics, and they're going through all these phones, and she had packets and packets and packets of cell phones. So we may actually get someone else to verify that. Kim said, "Wouldn't it look better if her house was a mess and her PJs mismatched?" I guess it might make her look like more like a normal person. There you go. There she is sitting on the floor of her home while the cops are questioning her. So beautiful home though. I love those American style homes. They're so pretty. Ping loves them. We don't get a lot of them here, and Ping has always wanted to own one. One of those really big homes that like you see in all the Hollywood movies, and I've always wanted to live in one because they are not common here. All right, I think I don't want to go over like 20 things that a lot of people have already gone through with the trial. I think there's a lot of people that have already gone through like 10 hours of breaking this down throughout the day. So I don't want to bore you all, but I wanted to bring up a couple of things that I saw through the trial today. Um, I think it's going to get more messy before it gets better. I think this is a pretty explosive trial, and I think the best is yet to come. I think we're going to see some really firecracker moments when we start digging in. Right now, we're sort of at that beginning stage, laying foundation for the trial. So you're starting to see the information get um, handed in and admitted and then confirmed, and then you're getting an expert talk through it. But you guys wait till you start picking at some of this stuff and then trying to, yeah, I think we're going to get some very interesting days in the court. I haven't heard anything about it. You've not heard anything about it, then you? Not here either. I always wanted a big porch with a porch swing. Yeah, we just don't get those type of houses. So beautiful home that Corey Richards had. Let me see if I can just get like a quick little wrap up video. Not that one. Just for people who haven't been watching like 8 hours of live streams for the trial. If people really want me to cover the trial, I will, and I'll provide like all the notes and the documents like we did with Aaron Patterson. But if people are not interested in it, I won't. I'm happy to let other creators do it. Corey Richards. I'm just trying to find one that's like a catch up one for people who may not know the case and things like that. No. It keeps trying to give me something that's like 8 hours long, and I'm like, no, not 8 hours long. Ah, here we go.
Thanks for joining us here on Midday. I'm Matt Fonts.
And I'm Alyssa Royster. The trial for the Camas woman accused of killing her husband and writing a children's book about grief is officially underway.
Yeah, that's right. Nearly 3 years after her arrest, Corey Richens is in court right now for day one of that trial. Both the prosecution and the defense making their opening arguments just a short time ago. The prosecution arguing Richens had a clear motive to kill her husband, Eric, citing her millions of dollars of debt and a chronically unhappy marriage. Take a listen.
The first is the evidence will prove that Corey Richens murdered Eric Richens, but also consider the evidence that proves that Eric Richens did not kill himself or die accidentally. The evidence will prove that Corey Richens had the means, motive, and opportunity to murder Eric Richens. But please consider the evidence that proves no one else did.
Yeah, so yeah, she's not very likable. Yeah, so we heard yesterday it stopped. That's okay. I stopped it. That's fine. So we heard yesterday a lot about her cheating on her husband. So that's going to be a point of contention. We're not muted now. We're not muted now. We were before. That's going to be a big contention in the trial, I think. And the fact that she was so emotionally detached from her husband at the time when she is alleged to have killed him by overdosing him on fentanyl. But the fact that she was so giddy about this other guy, like you hear the things, she's like, oh, I booked a 5-star resort at, St. Martin's. And what else did she say? Oh, if I was there, would you want to cuddle me all day? She was like dreaming of another life away from this guy, daydreaming about the Timu version of her own husband. Literally, the guy looks like the rundown version of her own husband. Corey Richens. He looks like an uglier, scruffier version of her own husband. Where is he? They look so similar. I can't tell who's who. But there's this guy. I can't tell if that's Eric or not. I can't tell if that's Eric or the other guy. And then she has her paramour. And then I'm guessing that is Eric. I can't even tell if they're the same. Same guy or they're the different ones. I promise you, they look so similar, except for one looks like a junkie version of her own husband. Let's see. Yeah, I literally can't tell who's who. I'm just trying to see if I can find it for you. Oh yeah, here we go. There's the other guy. They're slightly different. That's the other guy there, the lover. And that's her husband here. They don't look that different. They look pretty similar. They're like the same guy, except for one's the Timu version of her own partner. And it's, you go, oh, you were lusting after this guy. You wanted to get away from your life so you could be with him. You're basically committed murder, cheated on your husband for the same dude. You're like, yes, I cloned my husband and I'm going to have an affair with him, except for this is the junkie version of my own husband. Like, literally, they're like the same guy, except for one looks like a loser. Mrs. Ping wants to see. She's like, I want to see the guys. Mrs. Ping, do you want to see? That's the boyfriend. This one here. And then that's the husband. Oh, wait. See, there's the husband.
Yeah, she obviously have a type.
Yeah, she obviously has a type. They're basically the same guy, right? Except for this guy looks like he'd burgle your house while you're away, and this guy looks like he's a decent guy. Right? The other guy looks like he'd rob your apartment to go get fentanyl. And then the other guy just looks like a normal loving husband. Yeah, that's the husband, and then there's Junko. No idea. No one knows. That's why we're at trial, to find out why she would do such a thing. Trying to escape from her life. I don't know if I'd want to take this guy to a 5-star hotel in St. Martin's. I feel like he might steal your credit card when you get to the check-in. I feel like you might wake up in the morning after having a romantic night in St. Martin's, and then you'd wake up in the morning and then like your watch is gone, your phone is gone, and you realize he's taken the return tickets and flown back to Utah. I reckon that's, might what have happened. Danny said, did the boyfriend know what she did? Sort of. There's some suggestion he encouraged it, but maybe didn't fully know what she was going to do as such. At least that's my understanding. Like, they kept saying, he would say things to her like, oh, it'd be great if he just disappeared. Oh, if he just wasn't around, we'd have the perfect life. Almost like egging her on to get rid of her own husband and dispose of him. Kim said she signed a prenup. She thought if she took him out, she'd get his money. How very wrong she is. So we heard about that on day one. There was a trust created, and a lot of the property and the children and Corey as well were involved in this trust. But the trust was administered by his sister, and basically she would have got nothing. She was included in the trust had he died naturally. But in this particular situation where she was under suspicion pretty quickly, no. She's not getting shit. Warner still said, didn't he dump her? Yeah, eventually. But still, these two are peas in a pod. I heard from, there's rumors on the forum that he is now homeless and has lost his job and is living on the streets of Utah. I don't know if that's true, and I don't want to perpetuate a negative stereotype like that, but that is what they were saying a few days ago. I don't know if he still is, but yeah, there you go. All because her husband said no to her buying a mansion. Yeah, they talk about it in the text messages. She's like, we could buy like the giant house down the street and use it for events. We could have an events company. That's what she was saying to this guy. So her dream was to run away from her children and her husband, to go with this guy, buy a giant house and live in the granny flat out the back, and rent out the main house as an events company. Warped ideas. Gail said, okay, people from there, go and find out. Yes. He looks homeless. He does look a little homeless. He does look a little home challenged. he's a little like, you know, house isolated. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so look, my opinion is that so far the trial's going pretty good. I think the defense has their work cut out for them. And that was cool today too. They had this like 3D scan of the home. And that was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I've never seen it before in a trial. I'll see if I can show it to you very quickly. They had this like full 3D scan of the family home. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. It's a shame because it was really awesome. No, that's not it. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. It's a shame because it was a really cool piece of tech. Oh, it might be near the end. Yes, it is. So they had this piece of tech, and as they move through the house, you can see it. It's all like recorded, and then they get to there's another bit. They get to a certain point, and they can tell you where they found evidence within the home. So here they were like they found something in the cupboard, they found something through this door, and then they found something on the table. Let me see if I can bring up the bit where it actually has that. I don't think I'm going to be able to pinpoint it. Yeah. There you go. You can see as they move through the home, and there's the box for the camera to do the work. And then they stop, and they'll bring up these little points where you can see where they found evidence. It's really cool. Very cool piece of technology, like a 360-degree camera. Oh, there you go. Dirty washing on the lounge room floor. It really is a home with children. There you go. It goes all the way around. There you go. And they scan back and then they spin around. Now they go through here, go into the laundry room. Yeah, it's a very cool piece of tech. I can't say like me personally that I've ever seen it. Oh, you guys can't see it? Are you serious? Stupid StreamYard. F you, StreamYard. F you. We have to go back. Hold on, guys. There you go. Hopefully you guys can see it now. There you go. F you, StreamYard. How dare you? Maybe I'm going to murder you, StreamYard. I'm going to end up in trial because I murdered my software. There we go. So yeah, it moves through the home in this sort of like 3D scan, like it must be a 3D camera, 300, not 3D, 360-degree camera. And yeah, they sort of stitch it all together, and then they can actually drop markers where they found evidence. It's so cool. It's really brings that scene alive rather than a video camera. The fact that you can move around the house and then actually directly see where evidence was found. It's a really awesome bit of kit. And then they move through to like different rooms. There's the bathroom or the ensuite. There's their bedroom. Then they go down a hallway, see some of the children's rooms. There you go. You see the front door, then the lounge room, and then the kitchen on the other side, another kid bedroom. I know every woman in the world wants that walk-in closet. Every lady would love that. Yeah, it's a beautiful house. It's a trophy home. It's a trophy home. That's what it is. Yeah, there's that kitchen. There's that case for the camera sitting on the bench. but it's just really immersive for the jury. The jury being able to see this, and then when they go for deliberations, being able to use this to actually look around, that is a real advantage. It's a great advantage for the jury. It allows them to almost be there without doing what they call a site visit. They don't have to do that. And then they go through the kitchen, into the laundry. Yeah, it's a very, very cool piece of kit. I wonder if we can find the bit where they show you the evidence bit of it. Here? Yeah, okay, here. See the little yellow marker right there? It's where they've found something within the home, and they're able to show it. Let's see if we can go to another one. Yeah, see these little green dots on that? They're showing like evidence or something that they have found, and it's to mark it out so you can actually physically see where they found it. And then she's going to show what she found. So, yeah, that I was well impressed. I was like, I hope they start using this in Australia. There's another one. There's a purple dot within that cupboard there, showing you another area of interest. But very cool piece of tech. Yeah, that was the pills and the gummies. Gayla said yes, but I don't. Yeah, I don't think I've never seen a home like that here. Kathy said, I have no need for a walk in closet and I still want one. I think everyone wants one that has like the chair on the inside where you sit so you can put on your shoes and put on your clothes and things like that. I think everyone wants one of those because they're very handy. They're very handy. Yeah, so trial continues tomorrow for day 3. It's going to be a long day, I would think, again tomorrow. Today was a pretty long day. We're able to get through the majority of it. All right. Animals on the walls. Yes, it was a buffalo. I saw a buffalo. All right. Hey, I love you all. You guys are the best people in the world. Love hanging out with you guys here every night. And I'm looking forward to when the time changes in about 3 weeks for you guys because it'll be a lot earlier and a lot more people will be able to hang out. Hey, I want to thank my friend Vicky K. Vicky K, you are so kind. Thank you for the donation. Sean as well. And my friend Melissa. You guys are all very generous. We are unfortunately still about halfway through our fundraising for the trial. We sort of got a huge chunk over a couple of weeks and then it slowed down. So we're sort of like in a bit of a halfway point right now. So I appreciate it. You guys are very, very kind. Unfortunately, doing these trials, especially if you have to go away from home, they're very expensive. I can't wait to do some more that are in Melbourne so that I don't have to go away. I can just do it in my own town. That would be so much better. Can people please kill people in Melbourne instead of in the rural locations surrounding the city? That'd be nice. Thank you. So I don't have to go far for court. Marilyn said Sunday, March 8 is daylight savings time. Yes, and then a month later in April, we come off daylight savings and we go into winter time. So the time should get a little bit better for everyone, and everyone should be able to hang out a bit more often. Kathy said, should I make brownies to sell for your funds? Sure. Make brownies. Be careful. People might buy them. Oh, actually, here's a story. DJ sent me some Girl Scout cookies. I don't have them yet, but they got picked up today from the PO box. And our border force opened them. And I think they thought there was drugs in them. I think our customs thought that DJ was shipping me like marijuana cookies or something like that because they actually opened the entire thing and went through it they went through the box of Girl Scout cookies that he sent to me. So I haven't looked at it yet, and I don't know if they actually opened any of the packets, but they opened the package and went through it and then taped it all back up again. So I'll have to wait and see if they actually opened any of the packets. Danny says DJ is sus. He is. He probably was sending marijuana, knowing DJ. You know, he's the guy with all the illicit substances. Yeah, no, he's not, but he might be. Oh, he's got all the illegal Girl Scout cookies. That's what he's got. Gayla said, I might see it on Customs Border Force. Yeah, if you see a giant box of Girl Scout cookies, I'm not sure how many he sent, but the box is like 1 meter long and it's like 1 meter high. It's giant. And it's got like all these, it's got a year's supply of Girl Scout cookies in it. Woman of Steel said, I haven't seen them sold anywhere. I don't know where DJ got them. You have to ask him. Woman of Steel said, do you buy them off the website now? No, DJ went to like a Walmart or a big box type place, I think. And he actually got it from the Girl Scouts. Like he actually went there and, you know, got them in person from the girls. Maybe had a spliff while packing it. Maybe, DJ. Maybe. He might have done that. All right. I have to get out of here. I love you all. Great show tonight. Had a lot of fun. I did get Thin Mints. Yes, I did. I love you all. I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, it won't be at 4:30 tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be on about 40 minutes earlier, like normal. Today was a little late, a little too late. All right. I love you all. Oh, well, that's where DJ got them, from a booth. So ask him. All right. I love you all. Good night, everyone. Bye.